Me, well, I'm the gaming business development manager for Lenovo's ANZ. Yeah, that'll do. We can chat if you want, absolutely. It just depends on time in the run sheet. That's up to the team, obviously.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's been 1 year in the making, but we are finally back bigger and better than ever for the third annual CHISHOLM Invitational. My name is Max Von Neumann, aka Formal Casting, but as I'm sure you've noticed, I'm not the only one sitting here at the desk right now. Joining me from Legion by Lenovo, it is their Gaming Business Development Manager. Did I get that one correct?
Spot on.
Excellent.
Well done.
Thank you, Mr. Ben Williams. Thank you so much for joining me to kick off a brand new season.
Oh, absolutely, Formal. It is wonderful to be here. I'm very, very stoked to be able to join the kickoff of the CHISHOLM Invitational for 2021. Even though it's a pretty rough time, obviously, in Australia. I know I'm quite locked down here in New South Wales, but it's outstanding that this wonderful thing of esports is able to continue even in these these wonderful conditions.
Yeah, it is very exciting to be back as well. It's one of those things where there's a will, there will always be a way. And CHISHOLM has done a fantastic job in not only continuing this great event, but upping the scale from where we were before. I mean, bringing in wonderful partners like yourself to come in and support what is now 22 different teams competing in this event.
It's outstanding. And look, I just want to, on behalf of Lenovo for Australia and New Zealand, I want to welcome all 22 of those CHISHOLM Invitational teams. Really looking forward to some outstanding matchups this year. The 2021 season was phenomenal. There was some stunning plays, some savage plays, as we like to say at the Lenovo side of things. Yeah, really keen to see how all those teams come together. For us, Lenovo and particularly Legion, to be a part of high school esports and the activity that CHISHOLM's doing to bring it to Australia, it's really important for me and for our brand that esports in Australia does get a lot more professionalised and the standard does improve. And the one way that that's really going to happen is with high quality esports at the high school level. And so CHISHOLM creating the Invitational, really putting some excellent integrity behind it and some high quality, both sportsmanship but also broadcasting, like we're on here today, is a key part to making sure that esports gets better in Australia, and as a whole we all become a more competitive nation, which is perfect timing during Olympics when we all know how competitive we are. This is a space where we've got only places to grow for esports. So that's why it's really important for us with Lenovo and Legion and Lenovo Gaming to be a part of what CHISHOLM's doing, to make sure that we're helping anyone who wants to see esports as a sport alternative. They can really succeed and develop in that space. So yeah, it makes me really happy that we're able to help CHISHOLM in any way we can.
Yeah, and I'd have to admit, I think on behalf of the students as well as everyone involved in this event and pushing it forward, there's a big thank you going out to you guys right now, because I always throw back to this, and it is worth mentioning, I wish there was stuff like this when I was in high school. It's so amazing to see it develop and grow. And essentially, you know, this is where you breed the future stars of tomorrow within the esports and gaming industry. You got to attack it at that high school level, and it's really great to see. So once again, thank you so much for joining. Although I do think it's time we kind of start to break down and look ahead at this event. Any final words before we sort of run through? Any favorites? Do you have a school in particular, actually? I'm going to put you on the spot while I have you here.
No, I don't have a favorite. As the sponsor, I have to be completely impartial.
I thought I got you.
Good luck there. No, honestly, just massive luck and great game tonight to Clevo MacKillop and St Benedict's. We're expecting some really great stuff as the season openers, so get in there and have some great fun.
All right, thank you very much, Ben. Thank you. But yes, as mentioned before, we've got 22 teams this season, and Doing, my man?
Oh, just absolutely fantastic. Really looking forward to casting this event, and yeah, we're just looking to have some fun, you know?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun one for sure, as we've got two very interesting teams coming at us right now. Of course, we have St. Benedict's College, as well as, and I know I'm going to pronounce this name incorrectly, I'm just trying to make sure, like Clairvaux, I believe. Clairvaux Macalop. I do apologize every time I get that one wrong, Clairvaux. My French is not very strong, but we will do our best. As I think before we can go to those picks and bans, we can take a quick look at some of the players on each of these teams, starting with AltF4, who happens to be the Clairvaux. So, I mean, it's a great name. Sorry, AltF4 is... It is a fantastic name. That is St. Benedict's, my apologies. Yeah, St. Benedict's, AltF4, you can see... Oh, that's not St. Benedict's at all. That is the Clairvaux Echidnas right there. We've got ourselves Blurst, Jay Cheris, 002 is Best Girl. I'm assuming that's a James Bond reference. I'm kind of hoping so. Paragongal, as well as Had to Grind. As someone who's trying to get on that grind to improve their ELO, we can take a look at their KDAs thus below. And any sort of number standing out to you?
Look, it's the Echidnas, so it's my favorite animal. So, you know, I got to give them some props. But, you know, that support's pulling in 4 kills a game. You know, he's pulling in more kills than I do on jungle. So, he's obviously doing something right. You know, he's also got a good, you know, he's got a pretty good KDA there. But yeah, all look like pretty solid players all around. Oh my god, their mid laner has 10 kills a game. All right, yeah, well that's just blowing me out of the water. So pretty good as well.
Yeah, that I am a little worried about the 7 deaths a game though. That to me that tells me assassin player who's going to be, you know, looking to be very aggressive in lane. That's what that's telling me, and I'm hoping I'm right on that. Of course, taking them on is St. Benedict's AltF4, probably the best team name in this event as we take a look at Karma, King, Eternal, Zebra, as well as Frog.
Yeah, so they do... Oh, okay, their support's a bit more of a, you know, support or combat person there. No kills per game, well, 0.7, sorry. 12 assists, so chipping in there. I hope they don't actually AltF4 during the game. That would be really bad. I hope they do play it out. But yeah, some pretty solid KDAs, you know. Okay, mid lane, I'm having 9 deaths there. We got to... Come on, you know, he's probably playing as assassins as well, right? He's playing the Zed. Nightmare for me in solo queue, probably a nightmare for the enemy team when we come in this game as well.
Yeah, I think it is going to be an interesting one. Definitely when we look at these stats compared side by side, the mid lane is probably going to be the focus. And as per usual, when the mid lane becomes the focus, the jungle mate in me says, well, you know, the real reason why mid lanes do well is going to be that jungle support. So I'm going to be excited to see how these junglers match up, especially considering Zebra also does seem to have a high amount of deaths in their games. I have a feeling AltF4 is going to be the more aggressive team, perhaps the more proactive team, and I'm a little bit worried they might try to bite off more than they can chew. That said, we're about to be jumping into our picks and bans. The Echidnas will be on the blue side. AltF4 will be in red when we do. Just hopefully the players are listening in and they can go like, all right, click that start button. It should be worth noted in their pool, they are in Pool B. Joining them is the Lakers Legends, Admiral United, as well as the SEC Selfies. So there's a couple of schools in this pool. I'm not going to expect you to know a bit about the Queensland scene, but there are a couple of schools in this pool that actually have a bit of history in esports. So going to be really keen to see how they play out.
I guess a lot of the early game junglers, I guess like Xin Zhao's pretty good in terms of what he's able to do in the early game. Just like simple champions, you know, Annie, that sort of stuff. Any champions that are pretty good in terms of being able to one-shot their opponent or just being able to kind of execute them easily, I guess.
Let me get in there.
I'm not sure if he's actually banned or taken away for the tournament, but yeah, I mean, he is pretty strong. I have faced him a lot in solo queue as well, so it's just really annoying when he like revives the enemy team, your team, sorry. I mean, it's just kind of annoying. I don't know. Every time I face him, I just like, I guess I call broken because every new champion. But then, you know, I was talking to my friend and he's like, well, Caleb, he has a 30% win rate, so you can't complain about it. So I'm not really sure what to see, but hopefully we don't really see him because I don't know. He just seems pretty broken to me, honestly. Yeah.
Tyrant.
Yeah, he's pretty strong here. There are a lot of, strong champions banned away as well. Senna, Aurelia, 2 champions I do not like to see across the screen, but yeah, definitely a strong first pick, very, very safe. So it makes a lot of sense to actually pick that up in that first pick slot. I even kind of prioritize that when I'm coaching as well, to try to get that pick straight away. Just quite strong, quite solid, quite safe. Yeah, I mean, I talked about Denzel. He's really simple. He's very strong, pretty much at all stages of play. He's very good in solo queue and competitive. He's very good at just being a simple champion that has really good gank setup. He's very low economy, so you don't need to get much gold to actually be useful. And yeah, overall, he's just quite strong in terms of what he's actually able to do in that setting. And honestly, paired with the set as well, really good gank setup, and it's just an easy game. Particularly when I'm like playing against that matchup, it's just really, really strong. Yeah, very, very, very strong champion, and Yasuo is so annoying. Very, when paired with like Gragas, Malphite has got a lot of synergy with those knockup champions, but gonna respond with the Galio here, so a lot of CC, a lot of melee champions, but also just a lot of ease of access and ease of engage. So when I talked about Zinzao to pick, I really liked him because I think he is very simple and he's easy to execute. And Galio and Stek go along with that perfectly, where they're just always easy to engage with. Whenever I'm auto-filled to mid, I always typically just tend to lock in the Galio because he's just a champion that's quite easy to play, quite easy to use, and a lot of the time you can punish the enemy team because of it. But Ezreal, Yasuo, Kayn, more skill in depth, and they might be better in terms of the actual champions objectively, but can you actually execute and pull them off is another question.
My genius will be understood eventually.
The bot lane support's really still up for grabs. Not surprising that we're going to be seeing a bit more of a focus down that way. I have to admit, I'm a little sad to see Alistar banned out. That resurgence of Alistar I've been watching more in the LJL than anywhere else. Yeah, fun fact, I've been watching a lot of LJL of all regions. Make it that what you will, but Alistar has been so much fun to watch, pretty easy to execute, not going to be played here today. Jhin, Lucian, a lot of targets on Eternal in that AD carry position. The response, get rid of the Alistar, get rid of the Fiora. We're now hitting our final picks.
I mean, you're banning away the cow, so you've already got a zebra, you've already got a frog, you've got 5 echidnas in the game, so at least you're taking away some sort of form of animal. This is Zoology 101 right here, but Wukong to go along with that, that's a knock-up champion that Yasuo can go quite well with. A lot of strong AD champions, they might need something in the AP variety, potentially in the support position. They might just elect to go, not for that route. There isn't too many tanky champions. I guess Zed, Galio, and Zin can be tanky, but yeah, it depends on what they choose to build.
Commit to the brawl. I don't like the Turk. I would have loved to see a Lulu right now, to be honest. I think Lulu probably would have been the right goal if we were going to go strictly by strategy, but obviously comfort comes into play. Tarek. I've actually been chatting to some people recently about this champion. They've kind of disappeared, I feel like, in a lot of games. Perhaps we're going to see the resurgence right now with the Echidnas. Rel could be an interesting response. Not quite as dive as I would have liked, but hey, you still have some peel potential, I suppose, in case Kaisa maybe goes in a little bit too deep with that killer instinct. One last look, though, at our team compositions, and this could be a very, I want to say, action-packed games, because each of these teams look like they just want to get in and fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're looking across the AltF4 composition. They just want to run at the opponent. They have got such good engage along with the Xin, and we talked about earlier, the Xin, the Set, the Galio, but adding into the Rel and the Kai'Sa can back that up so well. It's going to be really, really good in terms of what they're able to do in the early game with that. And then they're not into too many long-range champions. I think Ezreal's the main champion here that I'd be a bit scared of if I was playing Xin Zhao here, or as a jungler, I'd come from that position where I'm like, it's so annoying to get onto an Ezreal. In the early game, it's not too bad, but once he gets those few items, once he's able to scale, once his E cooldown goes down and down, he's just such a menace to deal with. And they do have some champions that are quite annoying to deal with when they're ahead, particularly Yasuo and Wukong. You don't like to see them getting items. Obviously, they're not the easiest champions to engage on, as Wukong has a lot of mobility. Same with the Kayn, same with the Yasuo. So it's going to have to be a quick initial engage from AltF4. Try to kill 1 or 2 members, and then the fight should be quite easy from them with just the variety of engage they have. They have so many different options of what they can do. Probably looking to see like a Xin Zhao or a Kai'Sa hop in, and then Galio ult down or something like that, or have the set come with the showstopper. They can really back up, and they've got a good comp in terms of going together. And if you're looking at the Echidnas as well, some really strong champions. They kind of want to focus on getting like a Yasuo ahead or getting a Wukong, something that they really have to worry about, because if they don't, might be a bit of a struggle, but if they do, it's really, really hard to get on that Ezreal or shut down that Yasuo or Wukong.
Yeah, and I think there's one champion there that I'm going to actually ask that we dive a little bit deeper into, and that is the Wukong in the top lane. Because word on the street, at least on the League of Legends, so the streets of Runeterra, I suppose, if we want to get into it, is that Wukong has really been emerging as the premier dueling top laner. And it's kind of come out of nowhere. So I'm going to ask you, in your expertise, what has sort of led to this resurgence of Wukong being almost that premier top lane pick?
Yeah, he's definitely quite strong, and like we do pick him coaching Exile in some stock and stuff. We do pick him a lot, particularly in scrims. You haven't really pulled him out in too many tournament games yet, but we do really like him, and he just provides a lot of that. Obviously, he's got the CC, he's got the lane dominance, he's able to shove out waves, he's able to get to objectives, he's good with other champions in terms of providing knockup. And I guess the top lane meta has just kind of devolved into more and more of those bruisers, more and more of those carry champions. So Wukong definitely fits along with that style, particularly with a lot of the engaged champions that people like to play, particularly in the bot lane. You know, you see a lot of Nautilus, Rakan coming in, Alistar you talked about, Rel's here in this game as well, which is one that comes in. He's really good along with that style and just kind of playing these team fight kind of brawl compositions, and Wukong fits in perfectly with that. And yeah, he's a very strong laner. He isn't terrible in terms of scaling. He's able to blow up people really, really effectively. He's quite tanky. He's kind of good at most things in the game, and makes him a pretty solid champion. And he pretty much guaranteed automatic lane prio, particularly if he gets an early kill. He's really able to accelerate from then. So definitely a very strong champion to have on your team, and picked him here and into the set. Definitely a bit of a hard matchup, but if Kang gives him a gank early and gives him a bit of that advantage, then it is really hard for the set to play it out.
Yeah, I am going to be super curious to see how not only Karma handles this lane on the side of AltF4, but see what kind of support they might get from Zebra as we sort of move down now to the jungle, particularly on that AltF4 side. Zebra, I think it's going to have a lot of pressure to have this impact early in the game. Xin Zhao should have the jungle priority over Kayn, who takes a little while to get warmed up. And there are a few lanes that I feel like it's going to kind of need that support to get through. Of course, I'm talking about the top. I would emphasize a little bit of priority in the mid lane as well, because if a Xin Zhao and a Galio start roaming, I mean, that is so much crowd control and lockdown. If they're able to get behind you, pull off that well-executed gank, that could be a lot of trouble. What do you feel the potential is for Zebra right now to just kind of get his team to snowball on this champion?
Yeah, well, definitely when I'm playing these early game aggressive junglers, and I play a lot of Rek'Sai, it's kind of similar to Xin Zhao, in which you're trying to get ahead, and you know, I've obviously seen people play it and coach people playing it and that sort of stuff. And it's really not even like just ganking, but focusing around objectives. Like if you force objectives and just get on it as a team, when you have a comp here that has a lot of engage, is able to shove out waves, is able to get prio, you just want to kind of walk to the objective, right, and just take it, or just try to force a fight. Like try to force the enemy to run at you, to try to get a fight going, because that's your win con, right? Is engage, is team fighting, is that early game. So not just like looking for ganks as well, as he should here. Obviously he's got the Galio and the set in particular have really good follow-up, really easy to get onto that Wukong or that Yasuo. But as well as that, just starting those objectives, trying to get the crabs, trying to get pressure on the map and force the enemy into a mistake, or force them to pressure, because eventually, you know, you try to get those first true dragons, you get control of them, you get the river, right? You get the rift tower, you knock down a few towers, the pressure just mounts and mounts, and then you get to that third dragon, and the enemy team, they have to contest it, right? It's sole point. If they give this up, they're in a lot of trouble. The game's going to go a lot quicker than they're anticipating, and you keep controlling it, you keep fighting over it, right? And you keep creating that pressure, and that's what this Sin wants to do in the early game. And if he falls behind a bit, if you don't obviously get that, then you kind of lean to a bit more of that just hard engage, but overall, yeah, definitely looking to get those early objectives and get that pressure on the map.
And speaking of the map, Hedgie, it does look like we are loading into Summoner's Rift right now, kicking off our opening on-stream game here of the third annual CHISHOLM Invitational. Again, it's a bit bigger, a bit brighter than ever. As we take a look at these two teams, Echidnas in blue, AltF4 are in red, and it's actually looking like a little bit of cheese perhaps to start things off, as the Echidnas, they're moving as a pack of 4, not quite 5. It does look like Cherish has gone off on their own, but will be looking to rejoin with the group. A little death bush set up, and I'm curious if someone's going to take the bait. Eternal should not be the one stepping forward. Stun makes contact, and the follow-through is there. Flash for flash, and first blood goes to the Echidnas.
It's the saddest thing. You know, when you're playing solo queue, right? You know, you're sitting at your red buff, and you're like, all right, this is going to be a lovely game. I'm going to come on. You know, I've just woken up. You know, I've decided, you know what, today I'm going to play some League. I'm going to start. You know, you walk to your red buff. You know, you're sitting there, and then you just look bot lane, right? And you see enemy ADC slowly walking towards the unwatered bush, and you look across the team, and you know, Tarek's one of those stun champions, but then you look across and there's a Blitzcrank. And then you just see that hook flying out of nowhere, and that's very reminiscent of that there. Just gets caught out on the bush, goes down. It has to burn her flash as well, so very sad. But Kane, beautifully flashing forward, picks up a tier, which is really, really good for Kane, just to be able to expand those abilities. Very big at spamming his abilities in the jungle, so it does make sense to actually pick that up off the early first blood.
And at this stage, I have to ask though, when you go with the tier, now obviously Kane can go 2 ways with this build. You can either see the Ross Kane or the Blue Kane. When you get an early kill like this, and with the kind of composition you have, this could be one of the few times that I'd argue, do we perhaps actually see the Blue Kane build in this situation? Because it's not as if you're going to have like a sustained front line where you're going to be looking for those extended fights. Not with the team comp you have together, you're kind of looking to dive in and blow up champions. That tier could accelerate things when you get it that early. Do you commit for a Blue Kane in this situation?
I'd still go with Ross. They do have a lot of melee champions and engage, and Shadow Kane doesn't really love playing into that sort of team composition. And with some of the tankier members that they do have, you expect.
Oh no!
Oh my lord!
Oh, the Ignite! The Ignite's gonna get it. King is gonna go down. Meanwhile, up top, Karma forced to burn flash as well, and AltF4 not getting the start they were looking for. Lane priority going in favor of the Echidnas to go with that early first blood, and all of a sudden, we're not even 3 minutes in yet, and we're already at a 1.4k deficit.
Yeah, really strong side in that mid lane, in that top lane, being able to get those flashes and solo kill in the mid lane as well. So clearly showing the strength of this Wukong and the Yasuo.
Oh no! He didn't have it! He didn't have it! You gotta go for it. You know what? When you see those chances, you gotta commit. You gotta go for it. Unfortunately for Blurst, it was a little bit of a Blurst play in that regard. Unable to secure the kill, and Karma, I think, says thank you very much. I'm back in this lane.
Has to suck, but yeah, Set very powerful with that W, able to avoid dives quite easily. Very strong.
Oh, but he didn't die. You have teleport. Oh, Karma. This is going to be a little bit of a strategic misdecision right here. In that situation, after securing that kill, Set and Karma probably should have recalled and teleported back into lane. You would be in a much healthier state, because now, yes, you got that kill, but you weren't able to take advantage of it by staying in lane, as King is going to go into it with a Cherish for a bit. King will be able to walk away.
Yeah, I guess he's just looking to clear out this wave and then recall. Was in a bit of awkward position with the wave pushing into him, and Wukong did actually TP in to force pressure on him, so it was kind of a hard decision he was put into, but yeah, probably should have tried to just back off for the TP back in, but ends up not being too bad. He's down in CS, but does have the kill, obviously, so quite a strong position. But you can see already the CS difference in the jungle. Very strong in terms of what he's able to do in the farm category. Kane, and actually getting some prio in his lanes already with that solo kill in the mid lane. And Wukong, though he doesn't actually get the kill as a whole, does get to force that pressure into Set. So he's actually going to get this bottom scuttle crab. You can see the prio, Ezreal and Carrot coming to force this Zinzao off, and he's actually forced a flash in the end as well.
Yeah, that's another flash sort of taken away right now from AltF4. They need to be careful with that, as Blurst just going to go ahead and stay safe for now. Interesting little taunt. Cherish looking to chase after King. Actually going very deep, but you need to be cautious of those caster minions kind of running him down as well. Pace of the game is slowing down a bit after a very action-packed start. I think Blurst kind of going for that tower dive might be keeping the Echidnas a little bit honest moving forward. They might not be as aggressive as we initially saw. However, eventually we should expect to see them look to sort of try and push a bit further ahead with the start that they have, although in this situation it's going to be AltF4 going at them. Oh, Arcane Shift means the stun will not connect out of Had to Grind, and a little bit of missed synergy from the bot lane on the blue side.
Yeah, probably I'm not sure if he could have actually dodged the original engage with the E, but does manage to actually get onto him with a nice chunk there. And Zin's out. His top lane finally is Krog's. I expect him to recall after this, honestly. He doesn't have a gank top lane, doesn't have a gank mid lane. Probably best to just pack it in, recall with his first item. He's actually going to path down to the right instead of that last warning very, very soon. So, trying to path probably to that bot side for the early drag. But mid lane again, Yasuo.
Yeah, the body block not allowing King to be able to jump to safety, and with that ignite, it's going to be another solo kill going over to Cherish. Zebra arriving to the scene as well, too little, too late, but that is 2 solo plays for Cherish right now on this, on the Yasuo. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, he does also have a massive CS advantage, so doing very well in that category as well. Really, really controlling the fight. We can Z's in what he's trying to do, trying to get vision down on this dragon. Rel is going to go and ward it as well to try to get a bit of that control. Probably try to take that objective that they even this Yasuo being as strong as he is. Hasn't actually used his ult on to cut that up for potential play. That's what he's going to take some tower damage though. There. Nice taunt. Top lane. Karma. Starting to push this wave in, starting to get actually a bit of prio onto this Wukong, so definitely set quite a strong champion in the early game. Is actually able to stand up to the Wukong, who typically destroys most lane matchups, so quite a good pick here actually to kind of neutralize what the Wukong can do in lane, but doing quite well across the board, but not too much action outside of those first few early solo kills.
Yeah, most of the action right now kind of being centered around the mid lane, and I do suspect eventually that's going to push its way down towards that first dragon and Infernal Drake with a Yasuo that's starting to push ahead. I feel like that's going to be a wanted target for sure. I'm also kind of curious, I'm just going to ask if we can take a quick look at sort of the gold. Immediately after this sort of gank that's happening right now, as you see Paragon going to be going in onto Karma, going unstoppable. Yeah, that Showstopper's going to try and help, but the Haymaker won't be enough. Lurks is going to be able to pick up a kill, a little bit of revenge for what happened earlier. But yeah, again, just real quick, I would like to take a quick look at that gold, particularly the gold differential that's happening in the mid lane. As we can see, yeah, nearly a 1.5k gold lead through the mid lane alone. So when you take a look at the gold differential up top, most of that is coming through that mid lane. And again, it's a Yasuo. I'm sure everyone who's played League of Legends knows what happens when Yasuo gets ahead. It's one of those few champions that has the potential to completely take a game over almost on their own. I think shutting this Yasuo down by whatever means should be priority #1 currently for AltF4.
Yeah, definitely, and they're actually able to grab a really nice gank as well onto that Wukong. He gets that kill as well, so now has a 19 CS lead and is even with kills, and I talked about that. Just getting him that one kill, being able to shove in a few waves to get that CS advantage is so important for getting him a bit of a lead, and not even just in the context of the lane, but the overall game state as a whole. He's really able to now control the game a bit better. Able to just get that early advantage that he really needed, and just when it comes to the skirmishes, Wukong is just so powerful in terms of what he's able to do, so I expect him to be able to control this root barrel quite well. Now if Kane does look for him at some point, he's going to steal that red buff, huge, to get off that scene early, and has a 2-level advantage on him as well, so big advantages groping up around the map for the Echidnas.
Oh, again with the body block does make it that much more difficult for King to retreat. However, not going to follow the play up just yet. Itemization-wise, I'm a little bit surprised to see Cherish actually rushing the tier 2 boots in this situation. I would have suspected a bit more damage. However, the action's happening up top right now as once again Paragon looking for a gank play, forces the flash out of Karma, who will be able to get out safely for now. Zebra was waiting on the flank, not going to be needed this time around. Action back in the mid lane as again King just desperately trying to get to the CS, but Cherish is doing a good job of keeping that farm away from the tower. As, oh no, Eternal has to burn flash. Yeah,
just Kane able to access ganks so easily with the E makes it really annoying to play against, but Set doing a good job to evade that one. May not be able to evade gank 2 though, as Kane is very much lurking in this jungle quadrant, looking for the overstepping Set potentially, but he's going to back away from this tower as he shoves the wave in, so good little piece of wave management I guess there from the Set to get away from that play, but yeah, not looking amazing here for AltF4. Are down 4k gold, but no objectives have been started yet, but he's going to... Oh no.
Oh, that just happened. Karma, very eager for a trade right there, just dropped the showstopper on Blurst's clone. So realistically right now, Blur should be aware that they can win this fight quite easily, but instead they're kind of waiting for Paragon to arrive before they fully commit. The Haymaker provides a nice shield, yet with that Cyclone, Blur will be able to secure the kill, and the lead continues to extend in favor of the Echidnas.
Yeah, can use that second ultra to clear the wave out again, building up that advantage. More CS, another kill as well for this Wukong. Really, really huge. Should be able to actually take the Scuttle and the Herald here. He's going to trade it across the map for an Infernal Dragon. Should be quite happy to pick up that advantage.
Oh, it's a trap though.
Oh.
This isn't looking good. The heroic entrance gets into the pit as, oh no, Gamma takes us right back to the action. Dragon's quite low. As we can see, it's a trap round for Sheriff. The Dragon is going to be secured by AltF4, but can they escape with their life? Flash forward and the arcane shift by Stefano Juke, and Havoc Ryan gets a nice set of stunts as here comes the immortality. Last breath, meanwhile finds its way to the back line, and down goes Eternal. Now looking to re-engage back into that front line. There is nowhere for AltF4 to go. The fight is turning into a complete wash, as it is a massive 3-for-none in favor of the blue team.
Yeah, a really strong fight there, the big collapse. They actually get the Dragon, SBC, but not going to be able to take the fight as a whole, and will get taken down sadly, but a good effort. They did manage to actually bring all the TPs, try to get that fight going, but just not able to get it up in the end. And yeah, I mean, you saw the ult with this with the Wukong clone earlier. That was not very nice. I would have, if I was in a position, I probably would have AltF4 there myself. But weren't able to pick up that. But in the end, they were able to get the Dragon at least, so that is something. But a well-played fight as well to collapse members as well by the Echidnas here as well. So very, very strong performance from both teams to actually pick up the objective on the side of SBC, but the fight was taken as well by the Echidnas.
I feel like it was the right play for the side of AltF4, but they needed to execute it just a little bit earlier. I think they were a little too slow in getting to it, which allowed the time for the Echidnas to be able to react. And with the gold lead that the Echidnas had kind of already established, they're going to win every single fight when it comes to neutral objectives. And see a showstopper to initiate come from Blurs, who's just going to go right back underneath straight after Zebra. The Rift Herald was secured by the side of AltF4. They have picked up the eye as well. Yet here comes the follow-up engage. Flash Breath does so much damage to Zebra, who will get flashed upon and go down. Karma trying to get back to the safety of King. I don't think it's going to make it because Paragon has arrived to the scene and bought enough time for Blush to secure the kill. And it feels like every time we see AltF4 try to make that proactive play, the response coming from the Echidnas is just too much for them to handle.
Yeah, and I mean, the Yasuo and the Wukong are so strong in those solo lanes, and they pair well with the Kayn as well. The knockups that all these champions provided is very, very strong, and they're managing to make some really, really, really solid plays. But Cultivar, obviously both very, very fit at this stage, and yeah, a bit interesting, but he has actually elected to go that red Kayn here, so definitely probably just thinking, I mean, with the actual team fights and with the strength of their comp so far, probably thinking that just providing that extra, I guess, survivability, that extra tankiness, to knock out people, able to cause a little disruption. I guess just thinking that's a bit more valuable than the Shadow Kayn, but I mean, with how far they were ahead, I think it would have been actually okay for him to go at Kayn. Probably could have got away with it.
The knockup for the, last breath, I think is fine as well. I'm not going to complain for that. As Blurs is going to get that tower and then just slightly sneak away. The clone actually does as intended as Karma gets a little bit caught up. And once again, Blurs is going to be looking to escape. Have to admit though, with all this action happening on the top half of the map, it should be worth noted, even down in the bot lane, things are going in favor right now for the Echidnas as well. A pretty sizable lead for this Ezreal, who has started to sort of build up on that tier. Normally that's the first item you see, but we're getting closer to Tomato Soup's power spike as well, something perhaps that AltF4 is aware of. They're going to try to provide a bit more pressure with the arrival of Zebra, but they will not be able to find a gank.
Yeah, not looking too hard for this, but they're actually going to find a gank.
Force it, but that's going to slide a lot of times once again for the response. A huge two-man stun follow-up with the two-man knock-up and a double kill with the true shot barrage. Give it a triple, actually, over to Tomato Soup as we watch Karma go ahead and drop that Herald and take that bot tower. But again, it's a similar thing. AltF4, they have the right idea. They're prioritizing the right areas on the map, but they're just too slow in getting to them. And we're seeing the Echidnas have enough time to respond time and time again.
Yeah, I mean, Gordon Ramsay was pretty happy with this Tomato Soup because that was just absolutely fantastic. The triple kill coming in from kiting the fight very, very well. The triple stun, I believe, actually, as well landed from Parrot. So just really, really good outplay. They're actually able to drop the Herald in top lane Wukong sees a massive wave here as well, but you get the charge on the second turret as well, so at least some positive signs for SBC, but overall, not having a great time. They are slight 13k down, not having the best time out on the roof right now. But well played, counter gank as well, but you've got to look for plays when you're this far behind as well. You've got to try something, so at least they're putting the effort out there, they're trying to get the plays made, but just not going as well as they hope they can.
Well, unfortunately for them, they have lost control of their own jungle. Case in point, Tomato Soup picking up another one. Now the kill leader for the team. And I feel like it was just a minute ago we were highlighting, it's like, oh, the action hasn't been happening down below. Well, credit where credit is due. The Echidnas have rectified that situation, and now they're dominating both top, mid, and jungle. Speaking of jungle, another fight happening just there. Karma's going to try to escape. Blur should be able to run them down, and it's another player on a rampage. 4-1-4 for Blur, so although Tomato Soup might be in a little bit too deep. Eternal does not have the killer instinct, but does have enough damage for the shutdown. Here comes the re-engage, though. Paragon and Had to Grind are still going to look for this play. A nice stun onto Eternal, who's going to have to force that heal, trying to run away, but Paragon is going to go ahead and use the ultimate, cut them down, or are they not? Right. They wind up going 1-for-1, although in the battle between a Zebra and a Paragon, at the moment I'd favor the Paragon in this situation. A level up, Ari Rat's going to heal up, going to jump on them. You have Frog waiting in the wings, trying to provide Zebra a little bit of backup, but no, Frog doesn't get there in time. Unable to find the stun, and now Paragon's just going to continue this mini rampage as they look to, fry up a Frog as well, trying to escape, but unable to get out alive. A double kill for Paragon, who is now 4-0-9.
Yeah, the extended play. Kane is so good in those situations where he's able to extend the play on and on and on. With the healing that he actually has, he's just able to do so much damage. Has really low cooldowns on his QW and E as well, so he's able to keep gaining health, keep finding knockups, keep getting damage. Really, really strong. And obviously he has an ultimate as well to heal back a bunch of the damage that's dealt. And we see he's ending this fight at full health, fighting about 4 members down in that bot lane. So a really, really strong effort and just so hard to take him down in those skirmishes when I played against Canes, and just seeing Canes in general, it's just so hard when you get behind when you don't have that advantage to actually take him down. So kind of need to buy those anti-heal items, typically try to do something that is a force right now. Yeah, so we're trying to dive on this Heist. Get her though, we're going to shove in this wave and Tomato Soup here as well to help him in doing that.
Yeah, we can just see, trying to apply more pressure across the map. I mean, we're not even 20 minutes into this game, and we're already pushing on a 15k gold advantage right now. You kind of feel like it's only going to be a matter of time before we see the Echidnas knock on that door. Speaking of 2v1s, by the way, we saw one before. Well, Paragon wants to do it again. This time, Had to Grind, though, says, no, I'm going to help you whether you want it or not. Meanwhile, action happening up top and down below. It is an 8. As a matter of fact, as in all 3 lanes, members of AltF4 fall, and this is turning into a very one-sided affair.
I mean, we talked about some animals, we didn't really talk about monkeys. Wukong updating the 2v1 managed to find yet another kill for himself. Very, very strong. You can see even the Gore Drinker that came by is so helpful in amping up his healing. Probably got about 400 and 500 health when he gored 2 of those members there, and that increases obviously across players as well, I believe. People with it. But,
this could be a pick. Jay Cherish in a bit of trouble right now. 4 members of AltF4 are going to be looking to chase him down. Do we see the engage? Do we see something crazy? Now, Flash is available for Cherish, but with that ward on the drop, it provides an escape route. Zebra is still going to try to follow up, and they are hungry for Jay Cherish, who, doesn't quite connect with that Steel Tempest. I think that would have been the go for the 1v4. Instead, it's going to back away. Herald was also picked up as... they find him, but still is able to take the blasting cone over the wall. Jay Cherish is going to be chased up with the Killer Instinct, but again misses with the Steel Tempest, so Eternal is able to keep chasing. A bit of a death push, though. It's just like the start of the game, but this time Eternal has a bit more backup. The follow-through is there, but Jay Cherish is still going to go for it. One more auto could take Eternal down. Finds the first, finds the second. It's a 1v2, and now it's going to get the third despite the failed flash. It is a triple kill for Cherish, who has just once again proven that they are the solo queue Yasuo that's on your opponent's team and not on your own.
Yeah, I mean, he has Flame Horizon, the enemy mid, so definitely doing something there, but what an outplay there. The triple kill coming in, dashed beautifully, that was one of the perfect moments, you're trapped in here with me, no, I'm trapped in, actually, yeah, it's the other way.
Well, Zebra right now is trapped with Blurs. Tomato Soup is there, yep, will Arcane shift forward, forces out the flash, but Blurs will be able to run it down. And now we are looking nearly at that 20K gold lead in favor of our blue side. I have to admit, I've seen and cast a lot of League of Legends. I'm not sure I've ever seen the 20K come back. I think the most I've seen has been the 12K. I'm a little bit worried right now for AltF4, especially when we see the tower that's coming through. Shelly has been dropped. It's a nice two-man last breath that sets up Lurst for a double kill. 4 members down as up in the top lane from Karma. Just trying to get any sort of lane pressure. Is not going to be able to find it, and I'm feeling like, Hedgie, this is going to be the push that ends this game. Here comes Karma running straight into the mosh pit, immediately goes down. Zebra now is going to try to run into the mosh pit as well. You know, try again. It's a small definition of insanity, but what else can you do? The answer is not much. 2 Nexus towers fall. The Nexus will be next, and winning our opener, it is going to be the Echidnas.
Bit of a whitewash there. Really well played by the solo laners in particular of the Echidnas, Yasuo and Wukong, just gaining massive advantages, and Kane able to benefit very highly off that as well, getting some great ganks. I mean, you could even argue actually Kane did play the best in terms of what he was able to do in this game. Just the healing in every single one of those skirmishes, even when he was numbers down, able to outplay. And yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I've ever cast a game that was over 20k, so that's actually a sight to behold. That is pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not even sure when I'm 0-14 on Rek'Sai. I'm not sure that it's 20k, right? It's got to be 19 or something, or maybe it's 30k.
I have to admit, you know, credit where credit is due, and then some right now for the Echidnas in this matchup. They have definitely made a statement, I think, for not only their division, but perhaps for the tournament itself. Granted, we'll get a better idea of how these teams sort of scale up against each other as the event proceeds, but if you want to make a first impression, a victory like this causes teams to take notice. All of a sudden, people are going to be looking at this Echidnas team, and I'm sure they're thinking, okay, well, we can't allow them to have a team this synergistic again. The Kane, Wukong, Yasuo combo, that's got to be disrupted in the future, because they just were given so much earnest to do what they want. Every sort of brawl and skirmish happened to go their way. Obviously, these are 3 players that know these champions, and I mean, it's an exciting first look, I think, of where this team could potentially go.
Absolutely, and it's just very exciting to see them having so many outplays and having so many really good players in that early game. It's just really awesome to see. There's some really good League of Legends from them. As for SBC, just not having the best game on the day, but you know, you come back, everyone has these matches, everyone has these days, and you know, it's the way you bounce back, you know, from these type of games that defines you as a team. So definitely not out of contention, right, for the circuit or anything like that. But yeah, just a really strong performance from the Echidnas overall, and just really controlled those solo lanes well, and just got some solo kills in the early game, and just played it quite well, knew where their strengths were, and yeah, just played really well around.
So I have to ask right now, and I'm going to put you on the spot for this one. If you were to name an MVP in this game, where are you looking?
I'm going to have to go with Kane.
Kane?
Paragon. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Kane. Just as a jungle made myself, I can understand the impact he had on this game. He did have a very good KDA, control of objectives, was quite strong as well, and just able to get some really good ganks in, particularly around top lane. Actually had some really good ganks there to put this set behind, and overall just a really strong performance. Had some really good outplays of his own as well. Was a bit shadowed by Yasuo in that respect, but overall just a really strong performance.
You know what, I think it was a little bit unfair to the other players on the Echidnas, because it's not just one jungle main on cast right now, it's 2 jungle mains on cast right now. So if I were to vote for an MVP, I'd probably be saying Paragon as well. Yes, you had those 2 early solo kills from the Yasuo, but at that same token, I mean, look, you can only do so much with solo kills. The only reason why you can go for those plays is because of the jungle support that you have coming with you, right? You don't dive unless your jungler's there. That's just a rule. And when it comes to being in the right place at the right time, Paragon always seems to be involved in these plays. So I am in agreement. Paragon will be given, I believe, the MVP for this matchup. And, well, that's pretty much going to conclude our first week on this event. First of all, Hedgie, thank you so much for joining me. Similarly, a big thank you to Legion by Lenovo, as well as Torrens University and Sumner Society for providing support for this event. Thank you to all the schools participating, in particular our 2 schools playing on stream today. And thank you for everybody who happened to tune in. This is only week 1 of what's going to be an amazing CHISHOLM Invitational. Just that first step, and guess what? It's going to get even better from here. So, until next week, have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you all on the Rift.
Legion by Lenovo.